It's about time to get down to business as Real Estate Matters begins right now with our first guest. Here he is. He's an author. He's a coach. He's with Red Hawk Coaching, Jeremy Williams. Jeremy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill, for the opportunity to be here, and really excited about the lineup that you have today and that next week with Ted Jones. That's going to be amazing.
He's awesome because 24/7, that's all he does. He sleeps very little. He's checking all the real estate key points and indicators. He really is, year in, year out. He loves this. He thrives. So, yes, it will be great. But in the meantime, Red Hawk Coaching. First of all, Jeremy, let's tell people about your company.
My coaching company started back in 2017. I was really a coach beginning back in 2010 when I was affiliated with Keller Williams in Greater Houston. And so been a part of the Memorial offices, the Woodlands, and Kingwood. In 2017, made the decision to go out on my own and really focus on developing something that's customized to the real estate agent. I don't coach just real estate agents, real estate brokers, or mortgage brokers, real estate brokers, insurance agents, small business owners. But primarily, I'd say 80 to 90% of my business, real estate agents.
And that's awesome because there's a whole bunch of them here in Houston. And the interesting thing is that whether you're new to real estate or you have been in it 20 years, coaching, I would think, just like a professional athlete, coaching is so important for us to have on a regular basis.
Well, I believe it's the ultimate shortcut. And there's so many different ways to do it. Whether you're new or been in the business for years, it's always changing. You've probably noticed in the last few years the change, and especially with COVID and the way that we change and the way we do our business. And so there's always new things to learn. And when you can have a coach by your side where you can ask questions, bounce things off of, and what my superpower is being able to see into the blind spots of my clients and helping them, figure out the solution that they own and take out and implement in their business.
And in fact, whatever we do, I think having a second opinion, having another set of eyes and another mind helping you navigate, even in a personal situation, but certainly business, that really helps. And many of the real estate professionals, if we look at the real estate professional, that is, a lot of them are working by themselves. Yes, some are with a team, but especially I think if you're by yourself, that coaching really can enhance the business.
Yeah, it works with both the individual agent and the teams, and you're just coaching on different matters. And I like how you brought up the fact that it is not just about business; it's also about life. In order to have a great business, oftentimes you have to have things working in your world, your personal world. If not, it tends to fall into your business, and not you're not able to achieve your potential. And so I appreciate bringing that up because it really is a balance of both.
I mentioned you're an author. The book is called Survive, Scale, and Soar, and this recently came out, right, Jeremy?
It's only been out for about a month. It's an Amazon bestseller, and really excited about it. I took a lot of my personal journeys of my coaching clients, and of course didn't name them in the book, but intertwined it into the book to give people an opportunity to not only be able to be successful both in their business but also in life. And so it's not just a business book. It's also a great book. I actually wrote it to my son and my daughter. My daughter's going to be 15 and driving soon. That's a little scary. My son's 12 and in middle school, but I wrote it to them as essentially a handbook to help them navigate the world that's ahead of them.
We're talking with Jeremy Williams, Red Hawk Coaching, and right now we're talking about his book, Survive, Scale, and Soar. Give people an idea, if you would, Jeremy, about some of the things they'll find in this book. I like that it's not a gigantic book. It looks like you could read this, maybe make some notes along the way, and finish it in a week, and then refer to it periodically.
I didn't want to make it one of those novels because most everybody wouldn't get through it. I made it very succinct. It's 7 different points. One of them, for instance, is clarity, and I start with that one. If you don't have clarity in what you're doing, or a lot of times we equate that in the coaching world to your why, it's going to be very challenging to know the direction you need to go in order to be successful and achieve those goals that you have set in your mind.
And also, as you mentioned, it's an Amazon bestseller. How does that happen so quickly? That's exciting. You must be happy about that.
Extremely happy. I got a great publisher, Mike Fallett. He's out of Pittsburgh, and worked together with him and Dream Starter Publishing, and brought to him my book, and we worked together with his team. And within a month of me starting that process, we had the book out, and it was just a process of getting people to jump on and buy it that day. And it's all a system, and helped me achieve that accomplishment that I'd been working toward for a long time.
How long did it take to write, roughly?
For me, it was off and on. Great writers will write every day. It took me about 3 years.
And you already mentioned about clarity. That is a chapter on page 18 if people already have the book. However, how about this chapter? It says, be the turtle. Give us a word on that one.
So it goes back to the turtle and the hare. And we know in the story who wins that race. And a lot of times I see in the world today is that everything's moving fast in especially our agents are moving really fast because of the amount of information that's out there. And sometimes it's important just to slow down and take that all in, reflect. I always have 3 great questions that I ask. What did you do well? What did you do not so well? And what can you do to get better tomorrow? And that's the mindset of somebody that's acting as the turtle. It's just that constant and consistent work over time with intentionality.
And if someone, as far as the candidates for your coaching, they could be a real estate individual, a broker, even a real estate team. Mm-hmm. And are you helping people just in Houston, or do you go beyond?
I'm helping people all over the country. So, in fact, just signed a person I know we're going to be traveling out that way today, Philadelphia. Just signed up a client this last week, primarily in Texas, but I've had people as far as New Jersey, Alabama, all over.
Let's tell people how your process works. Let's say someone's right here in Houston, Texas, and they say, hey, Jeremy, I'm a real estate professional. I've been at a company for 10 years now. I want to go to the next level. How does the process work? What kind of questions do you ask? What happens next?
The first thing I want to do is we do a discovery call, and it's an opportunity for me to interview them and for them to interview me first to see if we're the right fit. If we're not, I've got a world of coaches that I know that I can direct them to that might be a better fit, because at the end of the day, the most important thing for me is the success of that person. And then we'll go through different questions depending on if they're an individual or a team, on what are their goals, what's driving them to their goals, what's their big why, who they have in place, what's their finances look like, do they operate with a P&L statement, and if they don't, a lot of times they don't. It's helping them figure out what those next steps would be, and that would be hiring a coach and taking a step there. So the first thing would be business plan, getting their calendar put together, and then working on their P&L, which is their financial statement.
And do they mention to you certain areas where they're having trouble? Does that happen in this discovery meeting or call?
Yeah, typically I ask them what their biggest challenge is, and it's all over the board. Sometimes it's a specific member. If they've got a team, it's a team member. It could be finances. It could be they're just getting started and they don't even know where to go. So it's kind of all over the board. But I open up with that question: is what is your biggest challenge, and why are we talking today? And usually within the first few minutes, I know exactly what's going on in their business.
Well, one of the things I was getting at, you probably figured it out, is that it's all over the board. But as far as their biggest challenge with the real estate professionals, do you hear certain things over and over again? Or if so, what are they, or one or two?
It's usually lead generation. Where do I find my next lead? How do I work online leads? I try to steer them away from that and teach them how to build a business organically. It could be, time. Time's a big one. I feel like I'm working 16, 18 hours a day, and it doesn't necessarily match their income. Their audio and their visual doesn't necessarily match up. And so, sometimes it's time, or I want to get more time with my kids. I feel like I'm working all the time. I'm missing their events. And one of the things I really pride myself in is helping them find time freedom. And, that's being able to build and have a really successful business, yet at the same time not having to sacrifice everything in life. And you see that a lot in the industry where they're making sacrifices.
Yeah, there you go, back to that work-life balance. We have to have things in balance to be able to perform in all the areas.
And sometimes it's counterbalance. Sometimes it's not necessarily balance. I think balance is insanity. But counterbalance, sometimes it might be you are spending more time in your work, but then you got to swing back to the other side, make sure you're spending that time with your family, or if you have kids, or if you don't and you just want to go take time out and travel, making sure that those things happen, because we only get one shot at life and we got to make the best of it.
As far as your book goes, do you have plans? I know it's early. It's been out a month. Are you thinking about even another book, sounds like you've enjoyed the experience so far?
Actually starting on another book, and it's going to be basically a thought of the day for 365 days. So each day, almost like a devotional where they can go and they can read it and just start out their day, being in positivity and looking forward and not backwards. I love John Maxwell wrote the book, Happiness Today Matters. And I think that's really important, because sometimes we get so focused on what's already happened. It's already written. It's already in stone. You can't change it. In the future, it's way out there. We don't know. Even tomorrow, we don't know what's going to happen, but we can change what happens today.
And we have about a minute and a half left, Jeremy. What else do you want people to know about your business or anything else?
I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm now a best-selling author. I am a coach, and I really love what I do. I love helping people. The biggest thing I get from what I do is seeing somebody win. And that's what coaching is about. I truly believe is when I can pull myself out of it. I don't like the recognition. I had a client say, I really appreciate what you're doing for me. And I don't like that, because they're still putting in the work. And so I'm just really excited when they win and I see them do it and they take some of the things that we've implemented and talked about.
That sounds good. And Jeremy, how can people reach out to you?
The best way to get a hold of me is redhawkcoaching.com. And if you're interested in setting up a discovery call, there's a button right at the top. Just click on that, fill it out, and we can talk some over the phone about what coaching might look like in your business. Or you can call me at 281-387-7689.
Red Hawk, like the bird.
Like the bird.
redhawkcoaching.com. It's that easy. Thank you, Jeremy, for being on the show. And, of course, if they want the book, they can go right to Amazon or wherever books are sold.
Yeah, they can go right to Amazon or redhawkcoaching.com/book.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Bill, for the opportunity.